What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren. If you're new here, woo! Felt really good to say that. I just spiked all of the microphones. Sorry to my headphone users. Welcome to my very first episode of my weekly pop culture live stream. Is this a podcast? Is this a talk show? Is this just like a chitty chat live stream? We don't know, but we're gonna figure it out together. I'm just so excited to be here. I've really missed posting on YouTube weekly with you guys. This is, if you are literally new here, this is what I used to do. We used to chat all things Taylor Swift. I'm the queen of Taylor Swift Tuesdays, and I just really miss bringing you the tea on a weekly basis. I'm live stream weekly pop culture show. It's quite a mouthful. I'm gonna need your guys' help to figure out what the title should be. I do like what I put in the thumbnail of Let's Talk Pop. I think that's kind of fun and cute, but whatever you guys think works best. ADHD unite. You guys are so great. I'm so happy that you guys are here in the live chat. It's so fun that I get to recognize so many of you. If you're watching the YouTube video version of this, throw some blue hearts in the comments or in the live stream chat if this is not your first Lauren Lipman live stream. That's really what I want to know. I've been doing this for years and I feel like I took like this giant hiatus, so I'm very excited to be back right now. Also, what do you guys think of this top and this look? I said on my Instagram that I feel very presidential, and we gotta rock the red lipstick because blue eyes, fair skin, and Taylor Swift, obviously. Oh, look at all those blue hearts. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Anyways, let's hop right in, y'all. If this is your first time on my channel, hi, I'm Lauren. I make videos about all things pop culture, lots and lots of Taylor Swift, and I'm excited to be bringing you this weekly pop culture live stream show. For future shows on Wednesdays, I'm going to need your thoughts, your opinions. I wanna know what topics you'd like me to cover. Guys, here is what we will be discussing today. The Opalite music video. Of course, we have to talk about this, and then we'll be moving into a little bit of spicier pop culture as we go over the infamous text messages between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. Yes, I'm actually going to talk about it online. I haven't done that yet because this has been just like such a messy situation. Then after that, we have got to talk about these rumors that Taylor and Travis paid off another engaged couple to secure their wedding date? Question mark? Is this real? Is this true? We'll chat. Dying to know your thoughts on that. And then I have to get your first impressions of the Tyra Banks America's Next Top Model docu-series rather, that just dropped on Netflix. It's a 3-part series and we gotta talk about it. And then on heavier, more upsetting news, we'll end the live stream chatting about how horrible this search for Nancy Guthrie has been, you guys. I've been following it so closely, and it is so beyond upsetting that this is just playing out in the public eye right now. Like, poor Savannah, poor her whole family. It's been wild. I've been following that story closely. I want to get your thoughts on the newest updates, but I'm so happy that you guys are here. Let's start things off. Can we please talk about the Opalite music video for a moment, please? Wasn't that just so wondrous and so much fun? What a fun, random music video. All of the music videos that Taylor Swift makes, I'm usually like, wow, that would be like really fun to be on set. But this one just looked like a little 90s, 80s baby's dream. I also really upset some people on my last video. I did a reaction to the Opalite music video. It's on my YouTube channel and on my Patreon right now. A bunch of people were like, Lauren, you're so dumb. This is the 80s, not the 90s. How dare you? And I was like, yikes, you sound like a lot of fun, buddy. Yes, I was born in 1991. That is my only frame of reference, and a lot of the styles, they are late 80s, but dude, styles carried over into the early 90s, and I stand by that. Anyways, Opalite music video. Yes, look at all of it. Someone posted a bunch of cactuses and rocks in the live chat. I love it. It was so random, and it's just like, it's so apparent how much fun Taylor Swift has when she's coming up with a music video concept, right? I mean, the fact that we can literally look back and see the exact moment that this popped into her head, let me show you.
It's just worth watching for Donald's dancing alone.
The moment.
Right? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm hoping to get in the Taylor Swift music video.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
There you go. That face right there. It's all, the wheels are turning. Her Swiftie Spidey senses wheels are turning and concocting, and it just was so much fun. And honestly, at the end of the music video, I'm really glad that she did a recap of the cast of who was in the music video, because honestly, I did not recognize the other cast members from the Graham Norton appearance. Did you guys? And you know, I've done a lot of Taylor Swift reactions. But you already know that. I've done so many Taylor Swift reactions. All of them live unedited on my Patreon. I have not yet sat down and watched the full Graham Norton show appearance. The life of a showgirl, that week was nuts. We got so many things. There were so many things happening. The engagement, I got swept up. What can I say? So I still haven't sat down and watched that one, but I do think I'm going to. I don't know if I can even post that to my YouTube channel because of YouTube copyright, but it will be live on my Patreon. I will let you guys know. Speaking of my Patreon is where you can find all of the unedited reactions that YouTube took down, as well as hundreds people of exclusive Patreon only content, videos, live streams, watch parties. We have a whole community of people always chatting about the latest Taylor news, pop culture news in general. So come and join us if you'd like to. Obviously, no pressure. I'm just so happy that you guys are here with me today. Cannot wait to dive into this with you. Wow, the timing worked out. She's a producer, ladies and gentlemen. She's a producer. Now, Opalite music video. Taylor Swift did something very different this time around that you might have noticed. Did anyone pick this up? She decided to premiere her music video on Spotify rather than YouTube. Taylor Swift did this for a very specific reason. And it's the reason why she's just always one step ahead of the music industry. But like, this is important that she did this, because in case you missed every single remix that Taylor Swift has ever posted ever, Taylor Swift really cares about the Billboard charts and the Global 100 as any artist would. And here's what happened at the beginning of this year, actually. YouTube announces their intention to withdraw data from Billboard's charts. This change, which took place, I believe, January 16th, 2026, means that YouTube will stop submitting data to the US Billboard charts in 2026. This means YouTube will stop submitting its data to the US Billboard charts next month due to a dispute over how streams are counted, according to an announcement Wednesday. At the center of the issue is the methodology by which Billboard counts paid/subscription versus ad-supported free streams. While Billboard updated its chart rules on Monday to upgrade ad-supported streams, YouTube has long argued that they should be weighted equally. This is very interesting. This now means that anytime that you stream an artist on YouTube, those streams will no longer play into the big Spotify count that goes to the Billboard charts 100. It's very interesting that they decided to do this, but I feel like, I mean, this is a very big deal. Like, a lot of artist management companies have a ton of money and time already invested into their artists' YouTube channel. Like, the fact that this is no longer the case and Taylor Swift jumped on it as soon as she could in order to get streams for Opalite that would count towards her streaming numbers, it's very smart. And I feel like while a lot of other artists might complain about this new change that happened very quickly, on YouTube you get ad streaming. It's like very clean. This is like been the normal workflow for all artists. Instead of complaining, Taylor Swift decided, okay, let's do it. Let's change it up. I want to premiere my music video on Spotify. Because I'm not fully well versed on the entire concept, I would love for one of you down in the comments to elaborate a little bit further on the reasoning behind this. Is this a good thing for artists? Is this a bad thing for artists? Is this a good thing for consumers? I really don't know the answers to those questions, but please, someone go a little further in the comments and I'll leave a pin, because usually whenever I ask this, you guys know what you're talking about. But, oh, look at everyone in the live chat who's here. Hi guys, I recognize so many of your names. Next up of my live stream. This is fun. How we doing? We having fun, everybody? Just me? All right, let's do it, you guys. Next up, I have been trying to avoid this topic for a very long time on my YouTube channel, just because it is so complex, it is so long-winded, and I know that you're all tired of hearing about it, right? But I've also just been very back and forth on my opinion of it. I can get into all my thoughts on all of that later, but let's talk about these text messages between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively that were leaked because of the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni court case. Whew. Woo! Do we have a lot to discuss today? Quick context. These text messages that I'm about to read to you, they are not leaked in the way that people might be framing it. They are text exchanges that were filed as official exhibits in the Blake Lively vs. Justin Baldoni court hearing in federal court in New York. When lawyers attach text messages to court filings to argue a motion, those exhibits can become part of public court record unless a judge wants to keep them sealed. In this case, Judge Lipman allowed a batch of emails and text messages to be unsealed Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, right before a big hearing about whether the case should be dismissed or not. Rather, could be dismissed or not. So these text messages were made public because Justin Baldoni's lawyers relied on these text messages in the filings, arguing that they supported their position. Justin's side is not claiming that Taylor had an official producing role, but they're arguing her text messages show that Blake had access to serious influence and used it as leverage during creative disputes. Now that you all have that context, let's read these text messages. Who's already read this in the live chat? Because these texts kind of blew my mind. Like, it feels like a giant invasion of privacy to even have access to these. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not well-versed in all of this, but it's very wild. I'm going to just read one text exchange between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. December 4th, 2024 at 8:14 p.m., Blake Lively sent a text to Taylor Swift saying, "Hey, just checking in. I have no reason to ask, but I don't know, I've been feeling like I should. Is everything okay? I felt like a bad friend lately because I was such a sad sack who only talked about my own shit for months. You were generous to not only be the key person there for me during all of it, but also to let me off the hook for being so in it. But I still have a feeling something may not be right. I told Ryan, he said to just ask you, but I felt so stupid and like it sounded needy and awkward for everyone, especially because I can't explain why I have this feeling. And you know, I have toxic masculinity, so I can't be needy." Smiley face. "But also I do want to know everything is good, so I'm asking. I always want the opportunity to be a better friend, so if there's something I unintentionally did, I know how busy and taxed you are, physically, emotionally, practically, so I don't expect any more from you ever. Just want to make sure all is good, heart, heart." I believe that Taylor Swift was like in the middle of the Eras Tour on December 4th, 2024. Someone in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she was currently on tour at this time, whether she was in between tour stops or whatever. Now, at 9:42 that same night, Taylor Swift responded in such a way that like, it just needs to be applauded. It really just needs to be applauded. Taylor Swift responded back, "No, you're not wrong, but it's also not a big deal. I think I'm just exhausted in every avenue of my life." Girl, we get it. "And in recent months, had been feeling a little bit of a shift in the way you talk to me. Yes, there has been a lot of the Justin stuff, but I've been through things like this before and I know how all-consuming it is. It's more like, and I feel really bad saying anything about this because your texts have been so nice in their intent, but your last few ... it's felt like I was reading a mass corporate email sent to 200 employees. You said the word we like 18 times, and it feels awful to be in any way critical of any way you process what you've been going through, but I just kind of miss my funny, dark, normal speaking friend who talks to me as herself, not like a plural unit. When it's a group I'm hearing from, I feel distance from you even more than we are geographically. Redacted, 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 redacted. We don't know what was said. We don't know what was said here. And I know you feel attacked from all sides for ridiculous reasons, so you're feeling like you have to overly explain things or be overly nice or whatever, but it's me. That just caused a little distance. Redacted, 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 redacted. And you don't need to apologize. Just come back, please. Hand emoji, hand praying emoji. You guys, the way with words that this girl has, I just don't understand. Like, I say this about like when I dive into her lyrics, you know, but like this is a literal masterclass in how to speak honestly to your friends about awkward topics. It's honestly like very admirable of Blake to want to send this text at all. I feel like in friendships, correct me if I'm wrong, people, we let things swipe under the rug. It's too awkward. I don't want to bring up something like blah, blah, blah. Blake felt a vibe. She asked about it. And then Taylor responded honestly. Like, I just feel like I learned a lot about how to speak from just this simple text message that Taylor Swift sent to Blake. And yes, this feels like a giant invasion of privacy. It feels very icky to even have access to these really personal text messages, but like, here we are. You guys, this is an active court case. Like, as of 6 days ago, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni showed up to their court hearing this past week, and according to their lawyers, they were unable to reach a settlement. And should Blake and Justin not reach a settlement, they will head to trial on May 18th. That's insane. That is insane. If this whole thing hasn't turned into a giant circus by now, a full-on trial with a jury is going to just make this even bigger and crazier than ever. Also, how can you pick a jury like this for a case like this? How can you ask someone, hey, are you unbiased? I don't know. I don't know all of the ins and outs of things that go into choosing a jury, but that to me, I mean, God, speaking of all the court cases that have been happening in our world, we're just not even going to talk about the other giant horrible thing of talk about redactions. Ooh, for another day, for another day. I wanna know your guys' thoughts on this, because I felt like for the longest time everyone was very Team Justin, and I just don't even know how I feel personally. I don't know where I land anymore, because I'm always on the side of believing women. No, not every single woman on planet Earth is perfect, and I'm sure there are people that are dishonest and ruin it for the rest of us, but I've just always in my gut felt like we should believe women and really hear victims out when they say something has happened to them. But also at the same time, it also appears that Blake did try to steal the movie away from Justin. That was all news to me. Like, it just seems like they both have acted out on both sides, but at the end of the day, in my mind at least, being manipulative and being a bitch is not illegal. Sexual harassment is. That's plain and simple how I feel about it. If a court trial in front of a jury is what needs to happen to make the truth come to light and to have other cast members that were on the set come to life, then I guess so be it. I just feel like a court case is just not going to, doesn't it just like feel icky thinking about all of this? But anyways, the reason these text messages came to light is because Justin's lawyers believe that it argues their side, while Taylor's team has been incredibly, ouch, I just kicked the desk. Taylor's team has been incredibly adamant that she had nothing to do with the creative processes or decisions in It Ends With Us, and Taylor's involvement is limited to a licensed song of My Tears Ricochet. Quote from Taylor Swift's team: Taylor Swift never set foot on the set of this movie. She was not involved in any casting or creative decisions. She did not score the film. She never saw an edit or made any notes on the film. She did not even see It Ends With Us until weeks after its public release, and was traveling around the globe during 2023, headlining the biggest tour in history. Man, I miss the Eras tour. The second part of what like really hit home for me, this is Tree. Tree crushes it also with words. The connection Taylor Swift had to this film was permitting the use of one song, My Tears Ricochet. The spokesperson reiterated in this statement, given that Taylor's involvement was licensing a song for the film, which 19 other artists also did, this document subpoena is designed to use Taylor Swift's name to draw public interest by creating tabloid clickbait instead of focusing on the facts of the case. I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Oh God, now I'm scared. I'm gonna read some of your guys' comments in the live chat. I see Team Blake Lively. Some people are like, how can it be impartial to get an impartial jury? I have no idea. Jen said this case most likely will be chopped up by the judge. It probably won't go to trial. I don't know, guys. I have just no idea. All of this stuff is just very upsetting, and I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But did you see that, do I have the pictures of them? I might not. They showed up to court in matching outfits on accident. That cracked me up. Like, in another world, they could have been friends. It sounds like they started out as friends. Okay, anyways, I don't even wanna talk about that anymore. What I do wanna talk about is these two lovebirds. Oh, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting married. Let's talk about these rumors. Did you see these rumors? Back in October 2025, there have been rumors that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce paid off a couple in order to secure their perfect wedding venue and the perfect wedding date. Did you guys see these rumors? Page 6, obviously take it with a grain of salt, it is page 6. Although I do love that they added to this title, Page Swift Hee hee hee. That's cute. At least they didn't do like a, oh, is there bad blood? I swear to God, I'm so sick of seeing, like, tell me you're not a real Swiftie if you use that in a headline in 2026. Like, there are better headlines to use than brimming with bad blood or just like, she's shaking it off. And I'm like, get more creative, guys. Come on. Anyways, end that rant. In October 2025, Page Six reported that Taylor Swift and Travis paid a couple to switch their wedding date so that they could get married at Ocean House in Watch Hill, Rhode Island on June 13th. In October, the podcast named After Work Drinks revealed. We don't know the validity of any of this. They revealed that they had received a tip-off from one of their listeners who claimed a friend of a friend, wow, was bought out of her wedding date at an undisclosed venue in Rhode Island for the date June 13th, 2026. Quote, they think it might be Taylor Swift. June 13th is the only 13th that falls on a Saturday, and it's near Taylor's house in Rhode Island. A listener called in to a podcast and claimed a friend of a friend. Might as well be ChatGPT making these rumors, right? But I will say, before I looked into the validity of the source, I believed it. Does anyone else believe it? Like, it just sounds like something that Taylor would do, because what I heard was that this anonymous source reached out to this engaged couple and they said, I will pay for your entire wedding and we will pay for you to go anywhere you want on your honeymoon if you move your dates. And when I heard that, I was like, are you kidding me? Absolutely, absolutely move your wedding date. Grandma and grandpa can book a brand new flight because you can put all that wedding money towards a down payment on a house. To have your wedding paid for is so worth losing a couple deposits from some vendors here and there. Am I right? What do you guys think? Come on, that was crazy. I'm sorry to say to everyone that this lovely story that, I don't know, I didn't think it was too far-fetched. It just sounds like something bougie that Taylor would do, has been confirmed as false. It's been debunked. Stephanie Leavitt, the director of sales and marketing for the venue Ocean House, went on TMZ and stated that the venue would never allow one couple to buy another's wedding date. When clients and their families choose Ocean House as their wedding venue, it's an agreement and commitment between our team and that family. Ocean House would not, and is not allowing another party or entity to buy a wedding group out of a contracted wedding date. I appreciate that. It's a very PC answer of you. What a ton of traffic to your page, international traffic you're getting to your page for this wedding venue. But I also feel like if a celebrity couple wanted to do this, it would have nothing to do with the venue. It would have everything to do with just the couple, like finding a way to do it. I don't know. I wouldn't think that that would be so offensive to have this financial burden lifted from me. I don't have to pay for my wedding and you get to pay for my honeymoon. Wonderful. Put all that wedding money towards a down payment on a house, kids are going to college, maybe we'll buy a boat. Who knows? That settles that rumor. What did you guys think about that? Yes, okay. Some of you guys in the chat are agreeing with me that like, you could see that if this was true. We all fall victim to the Taylor Swift in a headline clickbait, you know, but yeah. Wedding predictions for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. What kind of wedding predictions do you guys have? Let me know in the comments down below. I've seen some very precise and niche predictions online. So you gotta hit me with some of yours. What are your predictions for the Tayvis wedding? Guys, this is like the royal wedding. Let's be real here. This is actually the royal wedding for the US when these two get married. I have no reason to think this. There are no sources telling me this. I feel like in my gut, Taylor and Travis are going to be getting married this summer in 2026. I don't know why. I just feel like it makes the most sense. People are saying it makes sense with his football schedule. It makes sense with Taylor's no more touring schedule. I just feel like the royal wedding is going to be happening this summer. I don't know why. She could also do fall. We know that she loves a good fall moment. Another rumor that I read that I actually believe, guys, I believe this rumor and I need your guys' thoughts on it. Kelly Monjovia, I love your PC answer. Kelly said, it is within the realm of possibility. I like that. I'm gonna steal that. Very sophisticated. Rumor about their wedding that I do actually believe. Someone, I don't know, I can never, whenever someone says like a podcaster, I'm like, are you a journalist? Do you have ties to Tree? Because I don't know if I believe you or not. Take it with a grain of salt, but this man claimed that the invitations for Taylor Swift's wedding have gone out. I do believe that. I do think that that's happened because I think she's getting married this year. But he said that in the wedding invitation were attached a bunch of different NDAs that in order to attend the wedding, you must sign. I believe it. I for sure believe that rumor. How else are you gonna keep that under wraps? That to me, that is within the realm of possibility. Thank you, Kelly, for that line. I just feel like, how can you not have an NDA? Like, you're not just gonna get a save the date from Taylor and Travis and like stick that on your fridge. That has to be very, very under wraps. There's security issues. I mean, so many security issues. But it's like when she went on, wasn't it the Graham Norton show? Wasn't it? When she was like, I'm inviting everyone we've ever met in our whole life. Just everyone who wants to come, they're invited. And I'm like, you're playing pretty loosey-goosey with those invitations. Everyone you've ever met, Taylor? So does that mean me? We've met. We've definitely met. You know exactly, whatever. That'd be so cool. Could you imagine? No, guys, I don't think that there are gonna be any fans invited to this wedding. That would be cool though. Imagine me reporting on the sidelines of this wedding like it's a big Super Bowl. Wait, okay, so Graham said that he did sign an NDA? That's what I think. There's no way that that's a rumor. You can't just be having her wedding invitations go out to a bunch of rando. You can't, you know? And I feel like all the celebrities that are involved are probably used to this. I'm sure there was a NDA for Selena Gomez and Betty Blanco's wedding. Positive. Absolutely positive about that. But speaking of their wedding, recently Kelce went on the Today Show and she just had the cutest, funniest response when she was asked about it, and I have to show you. It's also like a horrible coincidence that Savannah Guthrie is the one opening this question, but we'll chat about that a little bit later on.
We think there's a wedding this year?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Do you really not know?
I have no idea.
You're not gonna lie.
She's so cute.
Yes.
I know.
Not
You can
gonna
lie.
lie.
I know. You're not gonna get yourself in trouble either.
Never.
I know, but
we're so excited to celebrate.
I
though.
know. Of
We
course.
can't wait.
We all are. Yeah,
Yes.
Kylie. Thank you so much.
That beginning part again. I don't know. Maybe.
We think there's a wedding this year?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Do you really
I
not know?
just don't
I have
know.
no idea.
Thank
You're
you,
not-
Swifties for Eternity, for always keeping us updated on Instagram. Love that. But like, how funny is she? She is such a little cutie. Love Kelce. Love that they're gonna be family soon. It's just adorable and so sweet, and I love it. Priscilla said, I do believe it could be a summer wedding, but I don't know. People are saying they're marrying during the New Heights break, which is in 6 weeks. I don't know, man. You can always record podcasts ahead of time and make it look like it's real time very, very easily. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on all of this. They said Charli XCX's Wuthering Heights soundtrack projected to place 9th on the Billboard charts behind Life of a Showgirl at 8th. I don't think I knew that Charli XCX has a song in Wuthering Heights. I need to see that. Who has seen that? I'm an AMC A-lister. Me and Matt go to movies like couple times a week. We love it so much. And I haven't yet seen Wuthering Heights. I feel like I gotta see it with my girlies. Good to know. So wait, to answer this question, are all Swifties anti-Charli XCX now? I will say that the whole actually romantic thing did make me view her a little differently, especially when I did a deep dive. It does sound like there was like this big, long interview that Charli XCX did. And then this interviewer baked like a whole 3-hour interview down to these like little sound bites, and she had to include that Charli XCX said about like, I felt like I was performing to children at the Reputation tour. It's all interesting. Like I said at the beginning of this live stream, I made this long Life of a Showgirl album review video and deep dive into Canceled and Actually Romantic, and then I lost my hard drive on a plane. That video still exists. I still will get it up to you. It's just gonna feel a little outdated, but I go really deep into all of that. So I feel like if you guys are still interested in that video, I can bring that to you. Oh wow, people are not fans of Charli XCX. I appreciate y'all's honesty in the chat. Oh yeah, Matthew Cousins, the bloody friendship bracelet thing was really weird. I just don't believe in any world where Charli XCX would mean that to be related to Taylor. Maybe that's just me believing the best in people, but Charli XCX is all about like hardcore rock and like drugs and blood, and that is way more what I gathered from that. I do not think it's fair to correlate those two, even though a lot of Swifties have online. I don't think that Charli XCX has that in her, personally. That's Lauren's opinion. That's Lauren's opinion. Next up, shall we talk about the Tyra Banks Netflix documentary, Inside America's Next Top Model. 3-part series on Netflix. Have you guys watched it? I was the biggest Anthem watcher, supporter, loved it, millennial girly, born in 1991. This show raised me. I don't know if that's a good thing, and I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I loved it. And it's been wild to see the internet's reaction. So reality check, Inside America's Next Top Model apparently pulls the curtain back on what was really going on behind the scenes of Anthem. And it sounds like it was not just a nostalgic trip. It is filmed with former contestants, judges, producers, and Tyra herself looking back at the show's legacy, the good, the bad, and the stuff that aged like milk. I haven't watched it yet, but man, the internet is tearing Tyra to shreds, tearing her to shreds. And I just need to were there any other millennials out there who were just absolutely obsessed with this show like I was? Seriously, it was the show of all shows for girls throughout the 2010s. And I do understand where all of this criticism is coming from, especially looking at the way that the models were treated. Am I also crazy for still saying that I love this show and that I have fond memories of watching it while growing up? Maybe I am crazy for saying that. I am 100% positive that this show has attributed to me having poor self-esteem, me having body issues, caring about my stomach, having a pooch, not having a thigh gap at a certain age. Yes, I'm positive that all of these things contributed to me having issues, body image issues in that sense. But I just have a really hard time fully joining this tirade that Anthem and Tyra Banks are the worst things and the worst people in the world. I don't know. Am I alone in that thinking? Because without seeing the documentary yet, at that particular time in the world of pop culture, Tyra Banks was the top model. She was, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the very first Black woman to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. And it was a very, very big deal that this model has these big boobs and she's on the cover and she's Black. These were all very, very big deals. And she was a trailblazer in the modeling industry. And I've always appreciated Tyra's story, the way that she really came from nothing and turned her dream into a reality. So those are all of the parts that I really fixed onto and I loved it. And I don't know, I just feel in order to be a model, especially at that time, and to be a Black model at that time, the things and the criticisms that Tyra was saying is probably the way that it was back then. I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying that they were treated correctly, but it sounds like these things didn't come from nowhere. These comments about woman's stomach, about the thigh gap, about your teeth being whatever, these are all things that Tyra probably really fully experienced in her life as a model, watching other people go on go-sees. I learned that term from America's Next Top Model. And I'm not saying that this was all Tyra's fault and this was all producers' fault. I think the truth lies in the middle. I think that when this show became such a big deal, the juggernaut of all pop culture shows, reality TV shows, I'm sure that by the time season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, cycle, whatever came out, the success 100% got to Tyra's head, the producer's head, the networks that were trying to get it on to their channels, the stylists that wanted to be featured in this. There was a lot of product placement a lot later on in the shows as it really started to blow up. I'm so looking forward to seeing this docuseries because yes, there were so many moments when you're sitting there watching it, as a little kid, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. You're not supposed to say that. And then I'm just back glued in, loving it, loving everything. And I'm just I don't know. I am upset to hear that it sounds like Tyra didn't apologize because man, is the internet tearing Tyra Banks to shreds. This is a post by the Betches Instagram account that said, "How to say everything except I'm sorry" by Tyra Banks, a 3-hour study of a narcissist in a trench coat. Yikes, yowza. This series revisits some of the most disturbing moments of Anthem, and you don't see any legit atoning from Tyra or Ken. Instead, it's the deflecting responsibility Olympics. The apologies are far, few between, and totally forced. So that's what everyone's saying about it online. What are you guys saying about it? Ooh, we're having some convos. Hi, Brian. Some convos in the live chat. But Priscilla said, oh my God, I watched Anthem. Watching it made me feel a bit off about some of the things Tyra said in the documentary. I don't hate Tyra though. She probably didn't have a huge job in leadership. This is the thing that everyone is going back and forth on. Again, haven't watched the 3-part series yet. I plan to, but it's like the question of how much power and sway did Tyra have while making the show? I'm assuming like between cycles 1 and 3, when it was still like smaller, but still really big, there's like a lot of like producers and investors involved in like, what are we doing to make the show? But then when like Tyra became the like, you wanna be on top, dun, 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 I like still hear the theme song in my head. I would like to think that Tyra was able to negotiate a better contract for herself, get more power, more creative control. What's interesting as I'm watching all these clips surface on social media, Ken Barker and Nigel and Jay and Miss J Alexander, they're all interviewed in this. And I'm only seeing the clips where they're like, Tyra had control. She knew what she was doing, blah, 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 blah. Miss J, Ken, Nigel, I have vivid memories of you guys saying horrific shit that should never be told to a woman, to a human. It's hard to place blame on one person. It is very hard to place blame on one person. I mean, obviously we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Pretty inappropriate. I just also know that the nature of TV sets can be very stressful. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and like make excuses for Tyra. I haven't even watched the documentary yet, but I'm very much looking forward to watching this doc with like open eyes, a little bit of skepticism. But then the fact that Miss J is now like, I don't know, not able to walk, is in like the hospital, and said that Tyra hasn't once come and visited him, that made me very, very upset. That made me very upset to hear. This is totally random. A couple weeks ago on my Instagram, I rewatched Life Size with Tyra Banks, Lindsay Lohan, iconic movie. Please comment in the chat if you remember and love Life Size. Eve's great, no matter where she goes. I still know the whole song. Dress her up. Okay, so I posted on Instagram about me watching that movie on my Instagram stories, and I tagged Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks then reposted my story, tagged me in it, and then I like made like a video response that is still on my Instagram right now. And it was just like, Tyra, I was the little girl who dreamed too big, and shows like Anthem really pushed me forward to believe in myself that I can make my dreams come true. This is a real video that I did, and then Tyra Banks reposted it, and I was like so touched that Tyra saw my video. I hope it's Tyra, it could be one of her social media team, who knows? But it was just this like fangirl moment of me just being like, oh my God, I can't even believe that Tyra Banks, my face was on her Instagram, whatever. And then like a week later, all of this stuff, this reality TV series is coming out. It's just been crazy. So I did go in and I hid the Instagram. I should undo that. That makes me feel cowardice because I stand by. I'll have to do that after this live stream, but I do want to have it on my page. I feel, oh, here it is. I hid it from my main grid. Should I show you? I'll just show you. I may never get this opportunity ever again. So this is a video for Tyra Banks and Tyra Banks only. Everyone else, you can scroll away. Tyra, I was the little girl who dreamed way too big. All the time. From a super young age, I had these huge dreams. And sometimes I felt alone in those big dreams of mine. And movies like Life Size and shows like Anthem made me continue to dream big and made me realize that like I can continue to work hard and achieve my dreams. And like that sounds so cheesy saying it out loud, but it's So true. It is so true. And I just wanted to thank you for sharing your world, with us, with me. You made a lot of little girls feel less alone in the world, especially in my life. I'm a pop culture obsessed girly who's always dreamt of being an on-camera host. And I do kind of do that, but I'm not done dreaming. And like, you're the definition of someone who put in the hard, insane work in front of the camera, behind the scenes, and look at where you are now. Okay, I'm gushing now, but I just needed to tell you thank you. I'm obsessed with this new ice cream shop in Australia called Smize, and I really love this new content series you're doing with your mom. It is so heartwarming, and I just wanted to say that. You're probably never gonna see this. Just a bunch of my high school friends will see this, I'm sure, but I just wanted to say thank you. You're amazing. I may never get this opportunity ever. Not me sweating while I show that video to you guys, because it's like, I feel cringe looking at it, but it's true. It's like how I really feel, blah, blah, blah. And so I like hit it on my page because I was just like, what is about to come out about Tyra? I don't know. I still love Tyra, but I'm gonna go make that live again on my page just because I don't know. Anyways, dying to know your guys' reaction to this. I mean, like, I'm sure that I'm brainwashed. I'm sure of it. Some of the shit that Tyra said and the judges said, the whole premise of the show was really crazy. And I think it's this thing where, like, that is what it was. You knew what you were signing up for to an extent when you're like, I'm going to go put my life and be vulnerable on this reality TV show, and I'm gonna go for my dreams. And I don't care what that means. I don't care what kind of like abuse I'm gonna take. And like, I don't even know if anyone could fully be prepared for the amount of like public humiliation things that were going on. And yeah, I know there's like a power dynamic of like wanting to fulfill. It's so hard because it's a reality competition show, right? And it's like, in this case, instead of like the gauntlet and going through physical like obstacles, you're going through verbal ones and physical obstacles and competing, and it's just a wild world. There are a lot of episodes and things that when you watch it, you're like, oh, that's actually a very interesting perspective from the perspective of a brand looking for a model, looking for the fashion designer. Like, that's interesting. And then there's other ones that you're like, huh? You got rid of this model's gap tooth? Like, you did cosmetic dental surgery on this human to get rid of their gap tooth to look more like everyone else. That to me, cut your hair, dye your hair, it'll grow back. Your teeth? The character of your teeth? That always rubbed me the wrong way. Wasn't there also, like, they switched ethnicities? I feel like I remember that. I feel like I remember there was like a challenge where they tried to switch ethnicities, and I'm like, someone in that room knew that that was the wrong thing to do, but they approved it. Whoever did approved it. They brought different colored makeups to like horrific choices, obviously. Oh, wait, a couple seasons later, they put a gap in someone's tooth? No. That is too much. That is too far. That's upsetting. I don't think that I knew that. Not the teeth, Dominique. Not the teeth. After Tyra Banks posted my video and I started rewatching Anthem. And just even from like season 1, I was like, damn, this show is so, like, it aged so poorly. But it still brought me so much joy at the time. Like, it brought me so much joy. I loved it. I've got all these memories. Me and my childhood best friend, Danny Morrison, we were sitting there watching it all the time and like, we just loved it. Loved that show. Widened a gap on your teeth. No, thank you. Absolutely no, thank you. And then I want to tell you, they're not paying me to say this. I am an affiliate. But this is my new weirdest hyperfixation that I love. And I'm gonna sound like an old man. Are you ready? Can you guess what my new hyperfixation is? It's eating tinned fish. Saying it out loud is so crazy. But have you guys ever heard of this brand, Fishwife? I love it. I love tinned fish. As someone who works from home, I'm always looking for like easy lunches, and I'll just like heat up some Trader Joe's frozen rice, pop it in the microwave, 3 minutes, boop, boop, boop. And then I'll open one of the Fishwife tinned fish and I will just put it over that, and it is so good. It is so good, you guys. I did become an affiliate with them through YouTube shopping. Got to figure out how to link them correctly, but I just wanted to tell you that their smoked salmon with Szechuan chili crisp is bomb. And look at these cutie little, like the little logos are just so adorable. I'm a big fan. The slow smoked mackerel with chili flakes. I actually did this. I did this thing where I got a bunch of blood tests and I found out that I'm really lacking in vitamin D. And they said that mackerel is like the #1 food that I should be adding into my diet. And so even before I've discovered Fishwife, I was looking at like the tinned mackerel on the shelves and eating it with rice, and LOL. Not the tinned fish. I know, I'm like an old man, but it's really good. It's like really, really tasty. Sounds weird, but do you like tuna? Do you like tuna salad? Do you like tuna fish? If you like tuna, you gotta give tinned fish a chance. I've never actually tried sardines. I feel like that was the one thing when we were little in like cartoons, it would have the gross wavy lines on it to be like, this is gross. And I'm like realizing that like, I actually like tinned fish and I like beets and I like chopped liver. And like all of those things in cartoons were viewed as like nasty, gross. Anyways, fun fact, I'm probably grossing you all out. Someone said, ew. I know, isn't the packaging really cute? Like, come on, look at that. I don't even have a link ready for you guys, even if you wanted to, but I just was like, while you ask me questions, let me bring it up. Dominique asked, do I have a favorite life of a showgirl track? I actually always go back to Actually Romantic. I love it. And Canceled. I just love it. Ugh, I don't know why. I can't get enough of it. I really can't. I want to know your favorite Life of a Showgirl track, but wait, I totally forgot the very last story that I wanted to talk about because I don't have any like stuff prepared for it. You guys, what's happening with this Nancy Guthrie missing? It's been, what is today, day 19? Absolutely horrific. I cannot believe that we are watching this go down in real time. And like, what's so upsetting is that I feel like the Pima Sheriff County and the FBI have fumbled this case and this investigation. Why wasn't Nancy's house fenced off for days? Did you know that Nancy had a pool cleaner come to her house and clean the pool in the midst of this investigation? Why wasn't the house completely fenced off from the public, messing up with evidence? I'm just like, it's so upsetting to me. It is so messed up. This 84-year-old woman was taken, and I don't understand. I don't understand what happened and like what could have gone wrong. Not to make this situation about me, but in 2016, I had a really close best friend of mine go missing, and they never found him. And it was those weeks of waking up every day, waiting to find out if he had been found, if the news had updated, if there was any updates every single day, was horrible. I didn't want to shower knowing that my friend Harrison was out there. I'm getting chills. I can't even imagine this was your mother that you saw the night before just getting taken for no reason. Like it's so upsetting. And what I'm confused by is like, if this was like a planned abduction and ransom, why did the ransom not come for 3 days? Now there's been so many ransom notes going in that like, I don't know if anyone can believe those ransoms, right? I don't know. It's absolutely insane. I just can't even believe that this is still happening. I don't know. The rumor that like me and my rose-colored glasses heart really want to believe is like, someone said that there was a source that said that they saw some like sketchy looking characters in Mexico with a woman who looked like Nancy Guthrie, but was kind of covered up, maybe a hood or something. And that the reason that like Nancy Nancy Guthrie could still be alive is because they drove to Mexico in order to get her heart medication prescriptions to like keep her alive during all of this. And I'm just like, what's true? What's not true? I don't know. I've been like so upset, like literally beside myself watching all of this happen. And I can't even imagine how Savannah feels, how her family feels. Everyone was coming after the brother-in-law and the sister and the daughter and the brother-in-law. And I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think about this case? I just can't even believe that this is happening. Do you guys know who Brian Entin is? Brianenentin. He's literally on the ground outside of Nancy Guthrie's house, and he's been there for the last 18 days, and I've been trusting his updates on TikTok. It's just been very upsetting. Like, I can't even believe that this is happening. It's so upsetting, I know. Anyways, you guys, weekly pop culture live stream. Throw some names at me. What should we call this? I really just wanted to get back on here, get back into the swing of things. Producing content like this is a muscle, and I have been out of the game for way too long. And I'm just so excited to be back here and doing this, and that I'm trying to figure out the best way to bring this to you weekly. I want this to be every single Wednesday. I would like to say that it's gonna be at 2 o'clock PST every Wednesday, but today's live stream started at 4:30, and I'm just excited to be back. And I wanna hear from you guys, and I wanna know what topics you'd like me to cover. I'm gonna create some segments. I guess I am going to be turning this into like, call it a podcast, call it a talk show. I don't want it to just be audio. I want it to be video. I'm a very expressive gal. Y'all know this. So I feel like I'd love to start this with you guys, start some fun segments. It's gonna be great. Bring some guests on here. I'm not at the point where I want to call it a podcast just yet, but I probably will. Whatever. It's all good. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I'm like sweating all over my face, but I'm also just excited to be here with you guys chatting. I want to know what kind of stories you would like for me to cover. I love to cover pop culture. And then it's like, I don't know, do I want to cover like upsetting stories like this Nancy Guthrie case or the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni case? Like, I don't see a world where I'll be doing daily updates on that because I cannot. But yeah, I want to bring my shining face to you once a week on the internet. If you guys are interested in joining my Patreon at all, links are included down below. I will probably be including my Patreon to like help me select topics, segments, guests. We'll be voting on things like that in my Patreon very, very soon here. But as this is my very first one of this show, Let's Talk Pop, whatever we want to call this, I will see you guys in the next video, and you will see me here next Wednesday. It's good to be back, friends. I love you very much. Let's see if I can end this live stream not awkwardly. Thanks for being here, guys. I love you so much. Mwah. Bye.